Accept your death.
We've probably talked about this here once or twice before, but I got into a heated argument with my coworkers yesterday because I try and eat a kiwi every day, and like they hate that I eat it like an apple. You know, like I'll
You
cut
eat the hair?
Yeah, I mean the skin has so much fiber in it, and like kiwis are
Most
just
does,
like
right? Like the fiber in apples is from the skin too.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like I just like cut the nubs off and I'll just eat it like an apple, and they just
And they
thought
don't like that, huh?
they thought it was revolting, and I'm just like, yeah, well, I mean, you know, like I get there's like a little bit of fuzz on it, but like, come on now, like there are grosser things that people eat on a daily basis. Peach has fuzz. No one blinks an eye at that.
It's not like peach has fuzz and kiwis have like a mullet, you know.
That's an interesting way to word it. One of their rebuttals was like, well, the skin on watermelon has most of the nutrients, but you don't eat that one. And I'm like, okay, well that's not exactly the same thing.
I don't know if that's true. Is that true?
I didn't fact check it, to be honest.
They might just be making shit up.
That wouldn't surprise me. The way this conversation went, that wouldn't surprise me. But...
I mean, I've heard of benefits of eating like, you know, orange peels and stuff like that, but like say like a banana peel. Are there nutrients in a banana peel that we're missing out on? Probably.
I have heard of like
Maybe.
people using those in like smoothies or whatever. Like they'll eat the banana, then throw that in a blender and blend it up, and just get a little bit of extra, kind of whatever. But you know,
if you could, would you eat a coconut like an apple? Those are hairy.
Those are hairy. They're significantly hairier.
Yeah. You could braid a coconut, you know?
Yeah, you could braid a coconut.
The 3 stages of fruit hair: peach, kiwi, and coconut.
Coconut. Oh, that's funny. I mean, if it had the nutritional benefits that were like would make it worth powering through that, assuming that it was somehow edible, I would probably entertain that idea. You know. Especially if there's fiber. I'm the older I get, the more I go hard on the fiber, so I don't go hard on the toilet. You know what I'm saying?
That's very important, especially as you get older.
Yeah, you gotta make sure.
I'll speak from experience.
Yeah, I mean,
that is
clean out the old guts, the old bowels.
The days of being young and invincible and just sleeping how little you want and drinking whatever you want and eating whatever you want, man. Those days.
I miss those
days. Are long gone, you know, and you kind of pay the price for that later.
Yeah, it's true. And just like yelling at 20-year-old me, like, why were you so hard on your body? No, I have to pay for it, not you.
Before we move into what I'm sure is going to be the smoothest transition we've ever heard from intro anecdote to the comments, did your coworkers offer any actual feedback? Or was it just revulsion? Like, how would they eat it? What would they do? Like skin it and then slice it like in wedges or something?
Yeah, like my manager eats it sometimes, and like he'll just like take all the skin off. He just scoops the middle bits out of the skin and just eats it like that. You know.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I did used to eat it like that as a kid because that's how my mom taught me to eat it. And then when I became an adult,
it's like cutting the crust off your sandwich, though, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's It's, I don't know. I mean, mind you, I don't really know what the crust does for you that the rest of the bread doesn't. But that being said, I do eat my crust. I'm a good boy.
I think that's just more of like kids are just picky eaters, right? All they want to eat is mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. And so I don't know why crust is so disruptive to children and some people either. Not in my entire life has that ever bothered me. So I'm not, maybe one of these, one of our crust-hating viewers can leave a comment explaining the psychology behind it.
Yeah, my son was one of those crust-hating viewers.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I was like, it's frustrating, and then you give him pizza or whatever, and it's like, oh, just eat your crust, man. Like, you need dipping sauce? Let me get you dipping sauce. It's food, man. It's wasteful.
I love a good crust at the end of a pizza. It's like having a breadstick at the end, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I never really thought about that. But yeah, no, I'm definitely not one to cut the crusts off anything, and I'm especially not going to cut the crusts off these comments you left last week.
Oh, there we go.
Before we get into the main ones, I do just want to shout out real Krampus. who wished me the best of luck in 2025. And
Oh, dude, that's so great.
yeah, duvets weren't the standard everywhere. Definitely
Oh,
gonna
I'm
try.
sensing some privilege. I'm sensing some privilege in the Krampus household.
Ah, there you go. There you go. I've just
Yeah,
had it my whole life, you know.
that's duvets are for middle class and rich people,
Yeah.
not us hobos.
Well, it certainly doesn't feel like it's for me because I can't seem to even use the damn thing. But
You're being outsmarted by it still.
yeah, I'm just trying to be too fancy and just end up looking dumb. So that's. I'll try this ghost method though, and I'll report back and I'll let you know. Let you know how that goes. So, thanks for that though. That was a hilarious comment that made me
Yeah,
laugh out loud.
2025 is going to be a great year for you.
2025, I finally figured my duvet out. I've only had it for like 6 years. Anyways, moving on here. So I wanted to highlight this because this was a fun thought experiment. I like cigarettes. Says, what kind of cigs do you think Bihan smokes? Also, can I borrow a
Profile
lighter?
picture's also a cigarette.
I know. This is an interesting account that has stumbled upon our podcast, you know? I'm surprised that we went to Bihan and not to Madame Beau, you know, because we see her light one up. You think cigarettes are different in Earthrealm and Outworld? Do they even exist in Outworld?
I bet they don't have filters, especially Madame Beau. I bet she's old school, right? That is tobacco wrapped in a piece of paper that can smolder and burn slow.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
and nothing more. And I bet she's been smoking her whole life, and I bet she's 98 years old.
98 years old. Yeah, I guess we don't really know how old she is. She's super spry though for how old she is. So
What about Noob though? What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like not really like a Marlboro kind of a guy. Maybe like a Camel. I don't smoke cigarettes, so I don't know too much about them.
I smoke cigarettes.
I did try to smoke a cigarette once to impress a girl, and it was the least impressive thing you'll ever see in your life. I was coughing like a little baby with a fever or something. You know, it was.
Your eyes get all watery and stuff.
Yeah, you know, it's I was a teenager, so it was like the whole like we were just standing around, and you know, she just casually passes. She's like, "You smoke?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course I smoke. What are you, stupid? Everybody smokes." take a rip off it.
That's everybody's first experience with cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
Like you think about that's your body telling you that you're putting poison into it and to stop, please.
Yeah.
And people tough their way through that and become addicted to the nicotine. That's what happened to me, right? Like I'm a kid of the 90s though, right? Like smoking was still a really big part of like pop culture and image and all the like when you're young and all your idols smoke and it's all over TV and movies and stuff and it was still like by the time I was like high school age is when Bill Clinton was like really clamping down and no more Camel Cash and Marlboro Miles and no more advertising. And then they increased all the tobacco tax and, all the indoor clean air acts and stuff. All that stuff was happening when I was like 16 or 17.
Right.
So this generation of young whippersnappers that always kick my ass at Mortal Kombat, they've never known life without the internet, and they've never known life where smoking was socially acceptable.
Yeah, it's all vaping now, though. Well, the vaping's everywhere. It's all over the place.
I feel like even that's getting like kind of like a bad image, bad rap, and they're making more laws and they're like restricting it a lot more.
It's true.
It's
It's
a thing
true.
that appeals to kids, like literally anything that's flavored, anything that you can smoke like that, especially if it's got nicotine.
Right.
In it or other chemicals. And that's so I live in a very conservative, like in a red state, and we already have local legislature and the couple remaining things, but it might even be nationwide. No more flavored cigarettes and stuff, but they've been starting to do that for vape juice because they're saying it appeals to kids, right? Like it's candy or something. So that stuff that tastes like crunch berries and stuff.
It's like cotton candy, vape juice. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
tell me that's not
Dude,
marketed to kids.
It doesn't matter what your vape tastes like. The vape that comes out of your mouth always smells like honeycombs or Cap'n Crunch berries or cotton candy, like you said. Like there's no other one. It doesn't matter if you're smoking mint, right? Like
it's true.
Anyway, you still haven't answered what you think Noob smokes.
I'm just gonna say with my limited experience, he grows his own tobacco. That's what he does. You know, he smokes it out of necessity to get rid of it, but he just enjoys growing it. He's got a green thumb, even though he's pretty much all black. But I don't know. That giving my limited knowledge on cigarettes, I feel like Noob knows that Bihan has to be around for a while, so he knows he's got to take care of himself. So he makes sure that his cigarette supply is as clean as it can get for his own health. That's my answer.
I bet he imports American spirits.
American spirits. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, they're like as all natural cigarette as you can get, right? Like just tobacco, no added chemicals, no like whatever, and they've been traditionally like pretty expensive and stuff. Like
Okay.
bumming a cigarette from somebody that smokes American cigarettes is a lot to ask for, or American spirits.
Right.
But I bet he does that for reasons that may, he's a big edgelord. Why would he care about that? But you know how some people surprise you, like you find out that they're vegan or something like that, and you're like, you're a total bitch. Like, why do you care? You don't care about literally anything. Why are you vegan, right? And if it's not for dietary things, is it an ethical thing? I don't think it can be an ethical thing because I don't think that you think that way. One of those surprising answers.
I had a dream last night that I picked up a girl in a hotel event because I was vegan and she was super impressed by it, even though I'm not. But in my dream I was. Or at least I told her I was. That's all I really remember from it. Anyways.
That went better than trying to smoke a cigarette in front of her, huh?
We're trying a different strategy now.
My friend Noob Cybot gave this to me.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we stayed on this topic way too long. Moving on. Next comment here. So we got Dr. Morgenstein says, between Kenshi, Janet, and Madame Bo, NRS really let themselves try out puppet characters and more tag game level mix-ups. It gives me hope that they can dial in balance of such things, have more diverse playstyles going forward. And I definitely agree with that. I think Kenshi was a bit of a bust off the go. I think right now maybe he's okay, but like that was not a great experiment for them. It was a cool idea, but in practice it didn't go very well at all. Janet,
it was a roster character instead of being a cameo. That's just like auxiliary to a main character.
Yeah. I appreciate them trying it. I remember being really excited when the game was coming out, when they showed a little bit of him or whatever. Was he in one of the betas? I can't remember. I think he was one of the early play tests. But yeah, once he came out,
no,
he
was in both. He was in the stress test and the beta. He was one of the only 5 characters that you could play in the stress test.
Right.
And he's like an on and off switch, right? He's either bad or he's good, and that means like whether he has Sento or not. And you hear Kenshi mains complain about that character. They just love to talk about the non-Sento stuff, right? And of course, he's like weak there, and that's like what's so polarizing about the character. But a couple people find their way out of like some setups and stuff, and it's like no low tier character,
low tier
Kenshi, poor Kenshi.
Poor Kenshi. Janet, I thought was good, but it's just everything about her is awesome except for those damn punches. They just make everything way more useful than it needs to be, I guess, And it's
just so dry. It's like dry, unexciting gameplay. To see her doing that for like every character on the roster just over and over, and it recharges so fast. You see it like twice a combo, and literally every touch if they haven't used the Gento or the wall or the nut punch or something.
Yeah.
It's like Movado, right? You just see him as like, oh, wow. Reading the patch notes, Tanya got like a little pop-up from her forward 2-1-1. We'll talk about the patch later, right? But like it's just like one example, and it's like, I wonder who could give her something off of that.
Right.
And just like he does for every other character I've seen. Like, I mean, that's fine. And if you like that flow and stuff from a spectator thing, it's just kind of, Movado doing Movado things again.
Yeah, I agree. And like Movado, the difference I'd say between like Janet and Movado is like Janet can go from one side of the spectrum being like super duper boring and just like punch to completely the other side. Like look at this absolutely crazy Gento combo you can do in the corner, right? Like
not even just, I love seeing the wall like used cleverly, like in pressure and stuff like that. Like I'm a big fan using the nut punch, not just for restands at the end of combos, but as a reversal.
Right.
That's her wake up. And that works against, I think, was that Brown Boy versus you? Who was Brown Boy playing one day? And he was playing Gearish Janet. It was just nut punching through everything. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. No, I don't think that was me, but I know what you're talking about.
I think it was Draz. It was another Quan.
I was doing that using the Shang Steel, Shang Janet nut punch. That's actually pretty good for things like that. So, but anyways, hoping that whatever game they come out with next, they kind of keep going on these different tangents of trying different play styles, and hopefully they do have a puppet character that doesn't come out of the wet work all just busted and just not even just busted, just not fun to play against, So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. That sort of gameplay, it's cool and it's stylish, but it gets too big brained for me. Definitely not my fun to watch, but I don't ever try that sort of stuff. It gets too centric, like 2XKO and other tag games and stuff. It's like that's too much for my small brain to handle.
Yeah, I'm probably right there with you. So, last comment here. Majin says, since the shrine hasn't had content added, what is a good way coins could be implemented? And I thought this could be a good kind of jumping off point to get into our topics here of the update, because somebody mentioned...
Because they added a shitload of things to the shrine?
Yeah, they added a bunch of stuff to the shrine, but somebody noticed in the Bonehawk Discord that it didn't say this time, check back next season for more rewards. And I noticed that when I finished this too, it just said, congratulations, you've completed the shrine.
Yep.
So it's done. They put a bunch of stuff in there, and
maybe. I mean, we could be. It does seem like they just dumped a bunch of stuff in there. Like, dude, as I was going through that was the first time since because at the very beginning, right? Remember, the animation was way slower, and you could only spend 1,000 coins at a time, and now you can spend 10,000 at a time. And here I am with like millions of coins because I haven't really like done anything with it since the game launch thing. So this last patch, this is the first time I've been able to do the 10 quantity thing like more than one time. Like I was like, oh, fine. So now I don't even need the time save because there's only 10 things in there. God, I was surprised, like just hitting the button and it just kept going and going and going. I was like, Jesus. But
yeah, that was a good feeling. It was nice to just be able to like power through that and not have to just single one, so.
Dude, and I miss that so much about MKX is the variety of combat card icons and stuff. You could be just like so distinct and like, it's part of like your identity, your tags on there and stuff, right? You want the cool background and the cool like whatever, and you could do the border and stuff in MKX. Not in this game, but all that extra stuff, my combat card looks completely different since then, and it just goes to show how just like that can't take a lot of effort, right? So many of those is them just like zooming in on an image, like a ghost face mask, and angling it a little bit and stuff. But it still looks sick, and that's all we need, right? We're not here crying for things that you think we should be paying $10 for and asking for it for free. Like literally just stuff like that, I feel like is enough to kind of like keep the IV dripping.
Yeah, I agree.
For the average consumer.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you mentioned MKX, and I do remember the player cards and that, and I feel like MKX was like the best for that. Like even Injustice 2 seemed, which had like Injustice 2 had like even like one or two little things, whereas MKX had like borders and all sorts of things and like foregrounds and backgrounds. I don't know. It was cool, but again, just a sign of things that were rushed, right? But some of the new things that you get in the shrine, they're actually pretty cool. I like the little cutie kind of things. I might use one of those coming up here.
The little cutie icon.
Yeah, a little cutie Shujinko, a little cutie sector, Cutie Madame Bo was weird. And I think that was the first thing I unlocked actually when I first went in there. But
the Serena one looks weird. They did a Serena demon version one, and that one looks weird to me.
Yeah, I think I remember that. It's a little jarring if I remember correctly, but. To answer the second question, what is a good way coins could be implemented? I believe you can actually use them in the Towers of Time to go and unlock previous skins from seasons you might have missed. I think that's those coins you can use. So they're not going to waste. You can still use them if you want.
No, those are the coins that you get in Invasions, not the coins that you like use in the shrine. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
So you get seasonal currency, and then you get the whatever other currency that you use at the vendor, right? So the seasonal currencies for the seasonal store, your skins and brutalities and all that stuff, and then the currency you'd be given to like collector to buy stuff, right? You don't have anything else to buy. That's your dump for that. And those other coins, I mean, that's why I have like 33 million of those coins, is because how do I even spend them if not on the shrine? Dude, there's got to be some sort of conversion. Take 1 million coins for literally like 5 dragon crystals. Let me do something with them.
That's a good idea. Transfer it over, or even to seasonal currency, just to something you can actually use, right?
Speaking of dragon crystals, I think this is a good time to talk about the premium store update.
Yeah.
Right? All that stuff they added.
Yeah, they added a bunch of stuff. And like I was super stoked to see that MKX Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Like I don't even really play those
They look
characters,
so
but
good.
like it looks so good. I was so happy to see those.
I had a physiological reaction. Well, like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, there's no way that can't be real. I had like butterflies in my stomach. Like, I don't know why. Like, I like MKX as much as I like almost all the other NRS games, right? But I don't know if it's just a place and time, something about that game specifically. But seeing those two together in their MKX outfits in the MK1 engine, man, that's a little bit of a dream come true. Something I definitely didn't know I wanted till I saw it.
Yep, I definitely agree. And in my opinion, I think the Scorpion one looks slightly better than the Sub-Zero one. There's just something about the head wrap I don't really like.
I agree. The mask looks cool, but I don't think it translates as well as the hood. Scorpion. Oh man, he looks so sick. I don't even play Scorpion. Cool. I might just so I can use it. That is like my favorite skin in the whole game, probably almost.
Yeah, I went through my Scorpion phase, and yeah, I got them in my pocket, but I got other things I want to work on. But yeah, I bought those. I bought the Li Mei skin because that's actually a super duper sick skin.
That one's good.
And then I got the Shang one as well. I was disappointed that old Shang doesn't get anything from that skin. He's just his default.
Not even that. He doesn't even keep the turtleneck.
No, that would be so funny. Old Shang with a little turtleneck. Like, come on now,
dude. That'd be sick. Like, man, yeah, you got robbed.
I know. I felt like I only got half a skin out of that. You know.
I'm surprised at this point. We don't even know what old Shang is going to look like in any skin until we actually go into practice mode or a game and like look at him, right? There's no preview. Like, when you're remember in MK11 and you have Noob and then Noob's clone behind him, but you could customize the clone.
Right.
But anyway, at least like something like that of him just like chilling in the background. He doesn't even be doing anything. Except just being a model. He can be in a T-pose for all I care, just so I can see like what colors it's going to like. Because Young Sheng looks sick, and then I go into Old Sheng for me and looks like a candy cane. He's like in a white robe with red trim or something, or he hasn't changed at all, right? He's just like the default.
There's only a couple skins where Old Shang changes as well. I feel like that was something that they missed, or something they didn't finish in time. Like, and then they launched it and they're like, oh wait, hold on, whoops, how come why?
Yeah, I feel like Young Sheng never looks good on those ones either.
Yeah,
they can never both look good at the same time.
I know, it's so disappointing. Definitely dropped the ball on those skins. There were a couple more. What am I missing here? I think Melina and Katana had skins. Question mark.
Well, so all of them were data mined, and they're going to be. I'm sure there'll be some premium stuff, but they're going to be tied to invasions. At least getting the base palette, the Melina, the Katana, and man, I saw it earlier, and they're like assigned to seasons. It'll be like one a season. So like Liu Kang's season will be one of them, and then Shang Tsung's season will be one of them. Or like what you're going to be getting in invasions. I imagine they'd be hitting the premium store.
Yeah,
I think
probably
they look really good. The Katana Melina ones look super good.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best round of skins that we've had all at once. I feel like they've had some bangers over the last year and a bit, but I mean, this is like all of them pretty much slap. They're all super good.
I don't want to be a cynic here, and I'm not trying to follow a specific narrative, but just humor me in this hypothetical for a moment.
All right.
Especially since that weird Ed Boon, his personal YouTube account, he started uploading their stuff to, like the Conan teaser and the patch notes thing.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's so crazy to me. Let's just say... Okay, we've all heard that. I don't even want to dwell on this topic, right? But this is just what I was thinking as you were talking about that. Let's say all the stuff, like the shakeup at WB, and they were told to like move on and all that sort of stuff. Like we've talked about this like a couple times, right? Like I'm using finger quotes when I say leaks, and there was the whole kind of going back and forth, and they're giving out fake info and all that sort of stuff, and people showing that the shrine is just complete. Right? Is this a sign that they're just done with the game? They're not going to add anything else to the game? What if in between the time that we first heard those leaks, which we'll say is probably around the time those conversations were happening, right? Not much afterwards. Like it's just like hot off the press, like bleeding edge news.
Right.
And so they're like, fuck it. Well, okay, then we're just going to do whatever we want. Let's put Madame Bo in there. We weren't planning on it, right? But what are we doing with our time and our resources while we're waiting for the next thing, or we're at the stage that's at, we don't need to dedicate like whatever. And they're just like, okay, we're just going to do whatever we want then. And so it's like all the try hard is gone. All the like really trying to like that season of chaos and the debacle with all those skins and some of the other like real missteps that they've had, because they have like super nailed it. Right, good ideas with like the retro ones from MKX, the MK2 movie skins. Right?
Yeah, those
just
look
got
sick.
announced.
Those look so sick.
That movie's not out till way later this year.
Like October,
so
I
I don't
think?
know when we'll see them in the game. I think people are reading into that a little bit, showing us like, oh, why are they releasing the skins so far ahead of the movie if they're not just going to be able to release the skins before the movie's out, like sort of thing. So we'll have moved on to the next thing. But I'm not sure that's true. I think they were just riding the hype of was it Entertainment Weekly or whatever that got those screenshots from the movie, the exclusive screenshots from the movie. I think Ed Boon was trying to ride that wave, and posted that stuff.
I gotta say, in the almost year that we have been doing this, this is the most optimistic I have ever heard you talk about the future of this game. You are always the one. No, nothing else is. This is it. This is the end. But this year actually seemed to, all of these things happening seem to have kind of created, a little bit of hope for you that maybe there's, some more stuff coming. It's nice to see.
You want to know why? It's actually because I care less. Like I'm so divested from the game right now.
That's so funny.
I feel like as cynical as I sound sometimes and as pessimistic as I sound sometimes, I try to be pragmatic. And
Right.
I try not to state my own opinion as if it's fact. And even if I don't believe it and I don't intend it to come off that way, I try to be conscious to try to not let it come off that way, right? So even when I want to talk about about something, I try not to say it as like empirical. It's not empirical fact.
No, that's smart. That's smart.
And I just, whatever happens, right? Life is life. And there's like no use spending energy trying to guess something that you couldn't even like possibly know, or to like spend all your energy dooming about it because you're convinced,
Right.
So, it literally is whatever it is. But right now I've got a bad case of Tekken brain. So I haven't been playing much Mortal Kombat. But I did go through the patch a little bit. I didn't get through everything.
So what did you start with? So because we mentioned last week that your first thing you were going to go through was Tanya, I believe.
Yeah.
And how did
so
that go?
Tanya just to see what her 2-in-1 felt like, and it just felt like a regular 2-in-1 cancel. It was actually a little bit awkward. I was just trying to do that because I play her with Surprise. I play her with Frost.
No way.
So I already have this sort of like, I whack you with a standing 3, and that goes into Ice Carpet, and then I can just have enough time to do a full charge, and then I can whack you with another standing 3 before the freeze expires, and then I do the teleport into the jump in into just like a regular B&B, right? So now you can do that with spending bar instead of using Frost for something like that. But I couldn't land the jump 1 after the teleport for the life of me. I don't know if that was a range thing. I didn't spend too much time on it, but it definitely felt like things where it felt like a little bit different. I don't know. I feel like her biggest buff is the quality of life for the extended duration, because that shit runs out at like the worst moments, and it's nice not to have to worry about your recharge when you're trying to like play neutral and trying to pressure somebody, or you're trying to be defensive and like hold something, and by the time you get to take a turn, whether and say you like open them up, your stuff's gone. So it got doubled. It went from like 12 seconds to 24 seconds or something.
That's actually insane. I glanced over the patch notes, but I didn't really pay attention to the ones I didn't really care about, which one of them was Tanya, to be fair. But yeah, that's insane.
So I messed around with her just a little bit. And then I looked at Sub-Zero and his new Down Back 2, which looks sick. I love the animation. And it feels and sounds nice. When you spend the bar on it for the ground freeze, it's very, very pleasing to my ears. So it does something for me. I I like Sub-Zero. Maybe I'll finally play him, regardless of how that move's used. Right? He's got such a cool aesthetic in this game, and now with the MKX skin, but his Order of Darkness also looks awesome. Just a visually great version of Sub-Zero. There's been some misfires in the past. This Sub-Zero is fucking sick. I like the man bun too. Am I in the minority? Do you like the man bun?
Yeah, that's not usually my kind of go-to if I'm going to have an outfit for my character, but they managed to make it work with him. I don't know what it is about it. It's just, You know, I don't know. It works with its whole aesthetic.
It's the little detail, so it keeps a weird head wrap or hood from being like on his head or something, right? And they added like so it frames the head well because he's wearing the mask. I feel like as far as like balance, you're looking at like the profile,
Right.
but also, you know, there's cool little details like not all of his hair's pulled back, right? Some of it's gotten loose and it's kind of like waving in his face and stuff. It looks cool.
Yeah, I do not play Sub-Zero, nor will I ever play Sub-Zero in any of that capacity. But I will say that's a cool
Dude,
skin.
fighting against that character's obnoxious.
I mean, Quan Chi just kicks him after the clone, so I mean, it makes it a lot more manageable.
Right, he's got to be really careful about doing that neutral. He's got to set up that clone or do it while you're, you know, instead of punishing you for a standing 4, that's an opportunity to get a clone out or something. If you like, say you whiffed or whatever.
Going off of the Lin Kuei kind of thing, I really want to get your thoughts on Frost, because I saw you post that even though they buffed her wall, they made it significantly faster, would you say? It messed up all your setups.
Yes. Bro, they increased it by 19 frames.
That's crazy.
Literally none of I have to go find new setups for everything. I haven't tested any of the flip over the wall stuff, but just the timing of getting it out for, like, say, sectors teleport and all this stuff, because it gets summoned behind the enemy, and when they're being tossed around and shit like that, the timing like really matters. And even when they're not being tossed back and forth, like I use for Natara Frost to get the corner dive kick hit advantage for the blood ritual stuff. You can just do that mid screen if you set up a frost wall. I'm gonna have to relearn all of that. I haven't even looked at that yet. But dude, they keep buffing this cameo. Oh my god! Like, remember they kept just giving Frost Orb little buffs, little buffs, little buffs, and it was finally like in the right spot. And now they added the Frost Wall, and then they've decided that they want the Ice Crash and the Frost Wall to have like synergy.
Right.
And boy, does it have synergy now. Holy shit. Like, because it makes the Ice Crash an ambush. You have to use your whole bar. But at any moment, you have to figure out the timing for this. I just was messing around with like throws, right? The hit advantage you have like off of a throw, which is, you know, in the single digits for most characters, if not all characters, so not very much. But yeah, you just cost your whole bar of cameo meter, but it's like a meaty, their backs to the corner, the Ice Crashes meaty and leaves you at like plus 48. Since you're already moving, you already have like the plus 8 from your throw, right?
Right.
And then she pins them down for that much longer. And then they're dealing with corner pressure, and if they try to wake, I'm sure armor will beat it and stuff, right? If they get hit by that, then it's just a combo. So,
yeah.
That can be really impressive.
I've been excited to try it out with Quan, because in the past I've kind of played around with it and kind of thrown out the armor portal and like have the ice wall kind of behind it. Dude, so that they can't retreat.
That's sick.
Yeah. And then they're just kind of stuck holding the pressure.
Dude, you can. It is so fast now. So it's changed my B&B. So I would say my main team right now is Noob Saibot Frost. That's who I've been playing like in a serious capacity for the last few months. And so I have things like I can do his 214, his 7-frame string that ends with the overhead.
Right.
That he has enough hit advantage off that to get like a teleslam or something full screen. But if I could, you could maybe hit confirm. You can't really hit confirm a single hit, especially when it's like 7 frames, right? Bring out a frost wall and I can get a jump 2, 3, 4, and start like a little side switch corner combo thing, and break 300 damage instead of just doing my 214 into teleslam, and it was fine. But now you can just hit confirm it. It is so fast. Like, I am literally just waiting for, because you dial in the strings in MK, right? I'm waiting for the animation to catch up to me, and I have to like almost delay the frost wall sometimes. But it's way easier to get, like, to truly get corner damage mid screen without any setup like whatsoever. And so like in the middle of a block string, and just bring up a frost wall and do the ice crash and leave yourself at plus double digits. These characters that especially have these long ass block strings like Noob.
God, I hate that string. Oh, I hate it. I get hit by it every time.
Bro. So even just his hit confirm, right? So if I'm just punishing you with my 7-framer that would normally go into ice carpet, then I would do it. So if I'm not spending any meter, right?
Right.
Just only using cameo, do my 2-1-2 into ice carpet, and then I can just do a raw portal, catch him out of the air, right? Jump 2, 3, 4, jump 2, 3, 4, jump 1, 2, and do my ender for like 315 damage. Now, after I hit confirm, you don't need to hit confirm if you're punishing, right? But I can even still just like hit confirm the 2-1-2, and if that second hit hits, I can just bring out the frostball right after that, then cancel that to the up kick, the down back 3, and just start a corner combo. So now that B&B is like 343 damage.
That's insane.
So kind of have to train yourself to do stuff like that as well. I mean, the downside is that you don't get the cameo meter does not recharge while the wall is active. And ice carpet will start recharging after like 1 or 2 seconds or something. So
Right.
yeah, I have sequences that start with a hit confirm into ice carpet, and then I can, if I've got the meter to be extending things into setups, I can get 2 frost orb setups out of that. So like 3 frost uses in one sequence. You won't be getting that with frost wall.
That's super competitive, super creative. Like, and especially the way that you've kind of layered that, knowing that you have to do the ice carpet first and then the wall secondly. That's super cool.
Yeah. That's the fun in this game for me, like trying to figure all that stuff out. And I'm sure that's all the fun that people are finding in like Madame Bo and Janet and all that stuff. Just like not my style, right? To have controlling 2 characters at once, like sort of thing.
Too much going on.
Man, but yeah, I definitely like setups, and there's nothing more ominous than a slow moving orb that's kind of tracking you, but not really, but it is.
Yeah.
But it kind of has like a floaty path sort of thing, and dude, it's comedy. The situations it creates and the way that people get frozen trying to get away from it. It's like I'll never have a set where you're just not laughing at least once.
Well, I remember when we were playing, I think I was using Motaro and I reflected the orb back at you and you got frozen in a dive kick as Zatara, where you're like, that's my orb! Oh,
That's so funny.
so
But anyway, if Janet and Mavado didn't exist in this game, I think you would see a lot more Frost.
yeah, she kind of, I don't know.
She's really good, just overshadowed.
Yeah, there's other better cameos to use, unfortunately, but she has her thing. I'm actually surprised that you didn't deep dive into Melina right away. You know, seeing how much time you spent with her in the first year of the game.
That's more that, dude. I'm telling you, like I'm not trying to be, you know, not trying to be too hard on myself or whatever, but stuff like that, my brain just loses track, right? Like, I dabble in music. I'm a bit of a musician and stuff, right? If I'm not really super deliberately like playing to a click or trying to keep like really rigid time, I just do not have good flow. Like things get out of, like I rush or I drag. It's so hard for me to find the sweet spot. So
Right.
something like that, I did try it, and as soon as I try to do a forward 3-4 canceled into a standing 1-2, I got a forward 3 canceled into a forward 4 because
Nice.
I can't lift my finger off the forward button fast enough because I just rest my finger. I play leverless, right? And it's just bad habits. Just so much muscle memory to retrain for that, but I did go through it a bunch.
It seemed pretty crazy. Yeah, it seemed pretty crazy. And the mix-ups and like things that I'm seeing, I saw you ask if you could...
Don't use it for damage. I think it'll be really good for like you're trained. You've always got the threat of like, you know, a teleporter ball roll. If you're not walking and blocking, you're being a little bit too, you know, something that's going to whiff with too much recovery and stuff like that. So those little situations, you're looking for that kind of like advantage, then I could see people just like doing that raw, as long as they can't be, you know, I'm sure Klon could standing for that or something, you know, big freeze frame. I'm not sure what the recovery is, but I think when she's trying to move in on you, because she can cancel her size into size. So you could get hit by a low psi, which can be hit confirmed into an EX high psi for a full combo.
Damn.
If you've got bar descend.
Does it go away if you get hit? Like does the install stop?
I think it's just timed. It's like 15 seconds or something.
I haven't actually seen it used in a match outside of like Twitter clips where people are just doing like crazy combos and stuff.
I don't think it's anything that you're gonna like hit confirm into to cash out on damage, unless you want to do like what they showed in the combat cast, which is like take your combo that does a little bit more damage into a setup, and then if you open them up, then You can also do it again in that combo before your time runs out. But if you're just looking to, if you land a standing 1 on somebody, and you just want damage, you're way better off just doing your normal combo, which is just your standing 1/2 into ball roll, a couple dash cancels, standing 4s into fatal blow will do like 513 or 515 damage or something.
Right.
Trying to get the most from those 2-on-1 cancels off a standing 1 hit confirm and all that stuff. The highest I could get, I don't know how, like whatever. It was like 430 or 440 or something,
Well,
which is still less than that.
Yeah, even if it left you in a situation like where you get like 380 into a fun to blockable into another 380 or something like that,
Right.
That's where it would be
Like they showed a
mostly
combat cast with Lao that was like 380 or whatever into fun to blockable, because they also use the back 4 in that sequence too. So there's the low hat, the back 4, and then that combo did like 400. It was like a total of 700 and something damage. So more net damage.
Yeah, that's definitely like comeback potential there, because you got to remember when you have this, you're losing the match anyways, right? Like you're below the 300 or whatever health it is to have your fatal blow active to be able to do those cancels. Same with Baraka, is the same thing. These are only available when you're kind of really low on health. But if you're both in fatal blow scenario, then that's when it becomes really scary, right?
I'm interested to see how. I haven't looked at Baraka's at all. I've seen it played, and I've seen all the Twitter clips and things like that. But I love the balancing idea of this. Like you turn him into, you give a character God mode, but their health is already so low that they have fatal blow, and his health is draining the entire time. But he gets all sorts of meter and stuff too. His meter's like really, really increased, so you can just keep EXing all that air flip stuff over and over.
I was thinking about like getting that and having him with Serena building his meter at the same time, like that would, the things you might be able to do.
Overkill.
That would be actually disgusting. Because you've seen the memes of him just doing like the down forward 2 EX like over and over and just spinning into like 800 damage or whatever. So, I was thinking about how things like that might work with Serena. Like how many times could you get that going while Serena's filling your meter up and you have a meter boost on top of that, right? So
the thing is that you're all over the place. You need to be in one spot or in proximity of that blessing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the corner
while he's wiling all over the place. Yeah, if you're in the corner, then it's GG's.
That could be pretty nasty. But yeah, I was messing around with him a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. But it's just, it would be too strong for it, obviously, to be like his regular gameplay. But it still doesn't make him like that entertaining as a character to play. That stuff is fun, but how often do I really want to find myself in a situation to use that?
I mean, the special stuff is fun, and that's the best part about the Molino one. The string stuff is real. I'm gonna have to rewire my brain a little bit to make like good use of that. But Psi into Psi, like I was fucking around with just hit confirming into a high Psi, which I canceled into the low Psi, which I canceled that into the EX high Psi.
Right.
And then you run in for your standing 3, and then canceled that into a standing 1 into ball roll, sort of stuff. But I think it'll be not just LOL damage stuff. It'll be like the very first example they showed us, which was him doing a blade spark into the chop, right, and just closing all that distance.
That was so
and
cool.
you can hit confirm it, right? My projectile hit. It goes in the chop, and he's allowed to do that when he's got the install, the buff. So that's fun to me. That's the fun part. I feel like finding ways to use that like in neutral.
Yeah. No, I agree. I played around with it, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't know if it's enough for me to actually pick up Baraka per se, but we'll see. I'm hunkering down for the pro comp coming up this next month here, so I did try out Shang a little bit. I played a little bit of Shujinkydink just over the last couple days. That was
Shang got all sorts of changes.
He got some craziness.
He had a big part of I take back, remember like last week, I was like, if we haven't seen it, I'm not expecting anything, right? If we haven't seen it, maybe a couple little things here and there.
Right.
But I'm definitely have egg on my face regarding that, because I've got to pull this up. He had like a laundry list of stuff.
Yeah, he had a bunch of stuff, like his fireballs do more damage, and like that is like that was immediately apparent to me when I was playing some matches, just the damage I was getting just from zoning, even though it wasn't
So it feels like a
huge.
meaningful change then. The zoner can actually do damage with the zoning now.
Yeah, exactly. So those fireballs, you actually they could chip you out pretty easily, especially if you have the enhanced one, or if you have like I was doing some Shujinko stuff, like reptile force ball into it to kind of force you into block stuns and things like that. And it's
What's this spinning spikes thing? It now has no gravity when used up to 2 times in a combo. Is that the
so that used to be like the B&B that you could do with like the Goro, like you do like his armored launcher basically, because that's his armored move in Young Shang is down forward 2.
Okay.
And then into Goro, but like it would cause them to drop fairly quickly. I don't really play it with Goro, but I've seen Wraith do it, and I kind of see what the change is, but that's not really something that would really benefit me as far as I'm aware of.
So
But
they're saying that if you wake up and hit somebody with your armor and you have a cameo to give you an armored launcher, it basically starts with no gravity.
yeah, so you can start your combo into your standing 4 ground skull, standing 4 ground
Do
skull.
your regular B&B, okay.
So it gives him better damage off of his launcher if you want to use his. Basically, yeah, it enhances his armored launcher. So assuming you have a cameo to do that, which, me using Shujinko doesn't really work. But you could have someone like maybe Movado or Scorpion or Goro or something like that. So that's kind of cool.
You should make a video about Shang.
The Shang changes.
Quan didn't get buffed, but the other sorcerer did, and you have a Shang. He was your main before Quan, right?
He was, yeah. Shujinkydink day 1 went to ECT, got on stream, and got Johnny caged.
Lost.
Yep. I think I won a round. Well, that was about it. But that was Ben Shujinkydink was still quite in his infancy. So we'll see. I'm not going to use Shujinkydink for the pro comp coming up because that's just a little bit too big brain for me for this quick. But I am going to focus on him in the background, and then after pro comp is over, then I'll probably bring him out. There's some nice changes that happened to his cameo steal as well. With Darius and Farah, they had some whiffing issues if the opponent was airborne. So
is that what it was? I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I was noticing I was playing around, and like sometimes Farah would hit, but it seemed really inconsistent. And then from my testing, going from after the patch, it seemed a lot easier. So, but I don't really play against those cameos too well. Farah, I guess, against Homelander quite a bit. So, well, we'll see.
The last one I wanted to ask you about, as far as Shang, and then we could move on to whomever, is this one that talks about the back throw. So that changed the back throw. Opponents now considered airborne while visually in the air during back throw. That has to be a cameo thing, right? Scorpion, Janet, whomever. Yeah,
the first one that I saw with that was Tremor, actually, because Shang rolls you on the ground and he goes into the air, and then I saw Tremor do the low hits, and it staggers the opponent, but it just kind of hits Shang out of the air, and then Shang's able to combo afterwards. So I don't know if that reacted differently beforehand. I didn't test that at all, but I found it interesting that, right after that, I see that right away. So maybe it could also be like a Scorpion thing or a Janet thing where he gets throw combos now too. So I mean, they buffed. He got a lot of nice buffs. I'm kind of hoping to see him.
He's needed it too, right? He's been on the edge, but not quite there. Literally since launch.
I think that he's probably a solid mid-high tier, but there's just you need to play nothing but him. You need to know combos with all the characters. You need to know neutral with all the characters, and it's just a big ask, especially when you have all those cameos that can change everything in 2 seconds anyway. So he has arguably the biggest tool set out of anybody else in the game, especially when you take into account the cameo steals. But mastering that character, man, that's a lot. I think Wraith's probably as close as we've seen to someone who can master that, do combos with all sorts of different characters. I was playing against a Homelander last night, and I was like, how crazy could it be if I could do a 45% combo with Shang, and in a plus 52, I think, restand, and then just start mixing with Homelander. That's actually, and a damage boost, because he gets a damage boost when he uses restand too. So
are you going to learn Homelander?
I might, specifically just for that matchup, why not? I was playing around with him a little bit when he came out, but I don't know, not really my type of character. And he was really buggy, and then I just kind of forgot about him. But now, just thinking about it, playing yesterday, I was like, that could actually be kind of sick, and, it would be an interesting counter for for Homelanders going forward if I have to run into any in bracket.
Dark Dink has needed a main.
He has had some eye lasers there. I
You
figured
know,
that
nobody blocks it, but when they do block it, they get thrown.
it's true. It's true.
He
Yeah.
blocked.
Blocked.
But you weren't supposed to right there. Nope.
Oh man, makes me want to bring back a Dark Side video. You know, let's go back in time. Freaking back one low laser will ever be the trolliest thing to me. Because like, yeah, you've just hit something, gives you a full combo, but you're just gonna go right into it, just a low laser and end the whole thing right there, and then just laugh at how they didn't box
every
it.
time it hits.
Yeah. Oh, the classic, man. But and all that aside, I played around with Shang, but I think I'm going to stick with Sector Shujinko for any competitive thing going forward, and at least until these next few events are done. I think it's NA West.
She's
There's 2
definitely a
weeks.
better character.
Yeah, all around, Shujinko does really, really good things for her, and yeah, just kind of all around. I saw somebody had her in S tier, which I thought was a little high, but
No, I feel like that is the common sentiment right now in all discussions, and I guarantee you, if Foxy is playing a character, then they're top
they're
tier.
top tier. Yeah.
Unless he's memeing, right, or playing for the love like Lau or something like that. But he only plays good characters, and she is definitely getting noticed.
Yeah, she ticks all the boxes. She does all the things. She has the flamethrower is one of the most craziest special moves in the game. So I don't know.
So many ways to control space and a really good forward advancing mid and a serviceable overhead and low. You know, nothing too crazy, but she's got them.
Got to pay attention. I've been hitting good players with that overhead, you know, and it has really good range too. Like you can whiff punish with that thing. Like it is crazy.
You can. Yeah, you totally can.
And the shimmies that you get with back 3-4, like crazy. People just trying to watch you for that overhead.
I'm just saying, yeah, I'm already holding back, right? I'm already walking backwards. So just hit that 2 button, and you can get really creative with her because she's got the, you know, I don't see a whole lot of charge standing 2 from anybody, but I know there's somebody out there with some swag or like a very specific game plan where they make like good use of that. She has a lot of tools.
Yeah, I need to play around with that more because having a +9 mid is actually pretty crazy, and it's pretty fast too.
I just don't really like playing zoning like when I have to, right? Like keep away and stuff's fine. Like New I wouldn't call like a zoner, right? But he's got keep away and he controls space. Like he's got a special move that will touch anywhere on screen unless it's behind him, right? But any corner, like nowhere is safe.
It's true.
I think stuff like that's like super fun, but something about, you know, I think it's just slow and the clones have cooldown, so I have to pace myself. I don't feel like I have to do them back to back, and I think that's what kind of gets me with other characters is that I get way more tunnel visioned. You know, I can't be trusted with those sorts of tools, right?
Yeah, and Sector can be kind of spammy with her zoning too. You know, like instant air missiles or whatever, and then into sidewinders and that kind of a thing. So I mean, it's more of a traditional kind of just throwing a bunch of stuff at you at once. You know,
it's cool how it combos too, right? How you can make it intersect, like when an air grenade can hit a sidewinder or something.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Or your air grenade hits him in the air, and you can hit him with the old EX rocket for some damage over time.
Man, this game is in a really good place right now. I even saw some people who've hated on it straight. Just saying it's in a good place.
I saw Tom Brady say something good about this game.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Even people who have been hating on it for a year and a half are like, this game's in a good place now, you know? And it's like, well, that's how you know. That's how you know.
I think it's close. You know, to each their own, whatever. I feel like if I got tired of the character I was playing, I have a big problem I had in like MK11 was that when I usually have like a main character and then I have 1 or 2 palette cleansing characters. Somebody I try to keep crispy on the side depending on how like demanding my main is.
Right.
You know, imagine in MK11 a character being demanding, but you know, like Injustice 2 and MKX in this game and stuff like that. You see me go around like, you know, in the character crisis and going on the carousel of all the characters that I, you know, kind of know. I can't believe how many characters I've touched in this game. Definitely more than Injustice 2, and I felt like I spread myself pretty thin in that game. Like there was definitely by the end of that game cycle, there were I don't know, like 7 or 8 characters. I feel like I have that now.
Yeah, I think
6 or
I
7 or 8.
probably agree with you. I think in MK11, well, I was just waiting for MK1. I did a bit of a carousel for every Combat League season, but Combat League seasons weren't that long. I don't think in MK11 compared to MK1, anyways. So there's more to go through. And the gameplay was just simpler, so it was easy to just pick up characters. Everyone did the same shit. So, but I mean, in MK1, like I've played Shang, I've played Scorpion, Sindel, Quan, Sector. You know, messed around a little bit with Liu Kang, and really that seriously, but still like more characters and like competed with more characters.
Like if you're like, okay, I want to start with something, you have plenty of places to go, like a good starting point. You've already invested a little bit of time in other characters. You're like, I'm just not feeling the zoning thing, right? Like I just need something else. You have options, right?
Yeah, it's true. You can go to different places and do different things. Maybe I want to transform for a bit and play some Shang, or maybe I want to
Who else do you have in your pocket?
I keep Sindel crispy just in case. We didn't really talk about her. She got some stealth nerfs. There's a couple stealth nerfs. There's so much to go over.
I know.
But yeah, she got stealth nerfs to her 4-1, and then there was one other thing
That's
too.
the button everyone was complaining about during Biennality and the other pro comp.
It was far too good. Yeah, it was far too good.
And that's what people were talking about, not just the mix-ups and stuff like that. Is like, what is that fucking button, right? Because all she's got to do is hit you. Like that into Scream starts her whole game.
Yep.
And then, you can buffer. It's like one of those things you can kind of buffer. You hit it out of range with it, buffered into it, and you walk into the button or get clipped into the button. Try to punish it too early. Duck the high.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how that shakes things up. She was definitely a top 5 character. A lot of people said top 1. So we'll see how that changes things. Katana got
especially with Shang doing 10 more damage to all of his zoning and stuff.
Yeah, because she struggles against zoning, so that's especially in that matchup because like he has airball stuff that controls her floats and whatnot. So it's
exactly. So you have Shang, Quan, Sindel, and you said a little bit of Liu.
A little bit of Liu.
A little bit of Scorpion.
Yep, I would say Sindel, Scorpion, and Quan would be like my 3 behind Sector right now. Those are the 3 that I'm most comfortable with.
And then who else do you have that's kind of like in that Liu category that you maybe looked at like a little bit and like you could pick them up and learn some things and stuff. You're not starting from scratch, and it's somebody that you could see yourself playing.
I mean, my Liu category is really because that character is super duper easy to play, and I just kind of wanted to see. I wanted to play as him because I was struggling versus him, so I want to see like where are people beating me doing all of these things, right? So I played him for a little bit just to kind of explore that a little bit.
Good method.
Yeah, I try and use it a lot, but I don't use it as much as I should. Johnny was another one that I played more just so to figure out, and again, same idea, where are people beating, like I'm going to do this thing that keeps beating me and see how people are dealing with it, So that was another one that probably put him. I don't have any crazy hype combos or anything, but just I understand his base move kit.
And it's a good way to learn matchups. And it's not like part of that, how are they beating me or how do I fight back, right? Is all that frame. It's like, I have not been punishing that, or like he's been getting away with murder. I thought he was like -1 and he's like -6.
Yeah.
He should not be able to do that, right? Like
things like that, so. Yeah.
See how people beat you.
Yeah. What do they do? What do they do? But
yeah, pick up the character and go see how people are getting around all that bullshit, and then you apply it to the character that started the adventure in the first place.
Yeah, go back to your character and be like, okay, well, now that I know what other people are doing, what can my character squeeze in that little hole to counteract that,
Speaking of squeezing into holes,
where's this going?
Oh, no. I have no idea. I'm looking at the patch notes. So, like, can we land somewhere? Katana got stealth nerfed.
Yes. Slight damage nerf to her. So a lot of her combos that we're doing like over the 500s, we're now doing about 400-ish, somewhere in there. She can still hit the big damage according to Retro, but like the way that the cameo cooldowns work and all that kind of stuff,
it's inconsistent now.
It's inconsistent, so she can't really hit for the same as she could before because she's got to balance the cameos differently, but she can still get that damage. Poor Katana.
I saw Retro saying it's like I hope you all are happy because you're about to see nothing but like the same katana combo, the same combo path over and over and over again, right? Like the swag is gone
Right.
and a lot of the other stuff. It's like all of our optimals is just the same basic ass combo. So hope you all are ready for that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There was a bit of a Jax buff as well, if I remember correctly. It seems like his cameo, like grabbing move, is used more. So I don't know if that's just because of other things changing, or if there was some sort of a buff to that move. I remember reading about it, but
So I've got the notes up here. So the gotcha grab, when it hits an opponent's cameo, the refill delay is reduced to 1 second, and it used to be 6 seconds from the activation. So lots of downtime. That was a change they did to the frost wall as well. So this is kind of like a common theme, because if you use both bars, like the ice crash into the wall, it would be 6 seconds before the cameo would start returning. So it was like extra punishing. It was like, why would I ever use my resources on this unless it was like a big kind of like Hail Mary end of round like sort of thing, like maybe, but definitely not
right.
as a part of like your just, everyday sorts of things. And hers got reduced to 1 second as well. So when it misses, it no longer has a refill delay. So it used to be 6 seconds no matter what from the time of whiff or the time it hit the cameo.
Oh,
And now if it
okay.
hits the cameo, it's only 1 second, then it starts recharging. But if it whiffs, there's no refill delay.
Okay. That makes more sense. I wasn't really understanding because I don't play those cameos. So I don't really understand how that works. So it's good that you can, now that you explain it to me, that makes sense to me. Because yeah, wasn't really sure what I'm reading, and it makes sense why I'm seeing more Jax being used, especially against like Kenshi and stuff like that. So, man,
Yeah, because Jax hits Sento too.
it's true. Yeah, both of them. Kind of interesting. But
Does Jax hit Sento? It does. Yeah, I saw people doing that. I don't think he grabs Sento, but he can put him on cooldown.
yeah, and does that would technically count as being hit, right? To go down to the 1 second or the 1 second cooldown, I guess. I don't know.
No, that would count as a hit. So that would be a 1. So the options now, right, is just 1 or 0. So I would guess that would be a 1 second cooldown, which is like negligible.
Oh, for sure.
It
60
can matter
frames.
at like moments, right? But that's nothing. Like 6 seconds is crazy. And still Goro, they did give him a little bit of cooldown love to bring him in line with some of these other changes. Where's Goro's thing here? They tried to give him something, but I haven't seen anybody say anything good about it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen any Goro gameplay. I haven't messed around with it myself even just to see like what it looks like now, but
Raise the roof, which is his main ambush, right? The up punch.
yeah.
Refills cameo gauge faster after use. Dead weight, which is his throw that hits crouchers. The refill delay reduced to 1 second. It used to be 4 seconds, and they increased the recharge rate. So I think that I might have to look at that again. It'd be about it because it's a summon, right? So it's about as much of a mix-up as like Ice Carpet would be, which is not really, because even if there's like a 1 frame fuzzy, you can kind of just react to the animation of them jumping out like easier than that. So, but like Melina forward 2-4 or something, right? Forward 2 into the dead weight grab, and and that's a full combo.
Yeah,
Those
and then
grabs are cool.
he can combo that from the raise the roof too. So, or yeah, I think it can.
The thing is, when I play Melina, I don't want to discourage like crouching. I want you to crouch because I've got overheads I want to hit you with. Like,
right, that makes sense.
Goro's just gonna make them want to stand more. Okay.
You need a character with some good overheads like Ghostface or something,
You seen any Tremor interactable stuff?
Not really, no. Like, I've seen some Reikos use it a little bit, but I haven't seen any like crazy new tech with it or anything. So
Okay.
We'll see. I'm sure it's coming down the road.
We should mention this is another one of those dink weeks where we can't do this on the weekend, so we're recording this early. So something may come up in the next couple days.
Yeah, we've
sorry.
only had this out for 2 days as of the day of this recording, so there's still a lot we haven't seen. We didn't go over T1000, but I'd like to wait to see a little bit more of what comes from him before I go into my opinions and stuff on him. I say visually he looks cool, but like gameplay wise, I still don't really know what to think yet.
I think a lot of people seem to be happy with him the way they were happy with Ghostface. Seems like a pretty fun character to play. But yeah, we should save him for next time because we've been going long. We probably have to wrap up soon. But before we do that, we're still talking about the patch and cameos. The Striker change seems
huge.
to be a highlight for a lot of people.
Yeah, and kind of like shades of like the early days where it's like, you know, unsafe thing into this, but I've seen it used more for combos than for that particularly. Some really cool combos coming out of that little striker rapid fire gunshot
Just
thing.
using it for zoning, like full screen.
Somebody took a screenshot. It's like, this is my favorite screenshot of the game, and it's the T-1000 with his gun out, with Striker down with his gun out, and then on the other side is just Shujinko all by himself with the T-1000 gun, like, still. Oh, it was great.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's something that it makes him a little bit more unique. He's not just another cameo with another ambush that's gonna let you do silly thing into safety or even combo on block, sort of stuff.
Yeah, so now he has the grenades at 2 different distances. He has this rapid fire gunshot. He's got plus on block overhead. I believe a safe low. He's got the restand. There's so much that cameo has now. It's actually crazy. I'm excited to see what someone who can mix all that stuff together comes up with, and not just pew pew pew, you know?
Well, I was gonna say, Tweety loves Striker. Like, he plays Baraka Striker, stopped playing Striker when Striker got nerfed. Like, I've heard him go on many a rant about how people can't handle that sort of stuff. So the cameos get nerfed or whatever, and now he doesn't have a team that he can play anymore. Because now it's not fun. I don't like any other cameo with him, right? And it's not just because of grenades. It's because, you know, whatever Striker stuff. But I think Tweety's been in the hospital. He's posted on Twitter a couple times, so I don't think he's had a chance to play the patch. He had a health incident.
Hoping him for a speedy recovery. Tweety Speedy Tweety recovery incoming.
Speedy Tweety.
Yeah, all the love from the Bonehawk podcast going out to Tweety there. So, but we better call it there because we're a little bit over what we usually do, and then there's still so much that we have to go over. So we'll go over that next week. So, thanks to everyone for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.